Nice and loud.
Genesis. God made the world. Adam, Eve, Noah, Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, and Joseph.
Exodus. Moses was born. Moses led God's people out of Egypt. The Ten Commandments. Leviticus. Laws given by God to Moses for God's people to follow.
Numbers. God's people wandered in the wilderness before God led them enter the promised land.
Deuteronomy. Moses reminds the people about God's laws. Joshua. Joshua led God's people to take over the promised land.
Judges. Deborah, Gideon, Samson, and others who fought against Israel's enemies.
Ruth helped her mother-in-law after both of her husbands died. 1 Samuel. Samuel's mother Hannah prayed for a son. When Samuel was born, she declared him the son of God.
2 Samuel. From the time David became king until he was old and about to die.
1 Kings. Wise King Solomon, evil King Ahab, evil Queen Jezebel, Elijah the prophet. 2 Kings. Elisha the prophet, evil Queen Athaliah, Ezekiel, Josiah, people taken as slaves. 1 Chronicles. There's some different people in
Israel.
Israel. The title of the song of Israel.
2 Chronicles, Solomon and other kings who ruled.
Ezra. People returning from slavery rebuilt the temple. Ezra restarted the temple work.
Nehemiah led the people to rebuild the wall around Jerusalem. Esther. Esther, a Jew, became queen of Persia and was able to protect the Jewish people.
Job. Many bad things happened to Job, but he still had faith in God.
Psalms, a collection of songs and prayers. Proverbs, a collection of wise sayings.
Ecclesiastes. We can find meaning in life from God.
Song of Solomon, a bride and groom wrote love songs to each other. Isaiah, God's message against Judah and other countries. God's promise to give in here.
Jeremiah. God's messages against Judah and other countries. Jeremiah's experiences.
Lamentations, sad poems about how God punishes people. Ezekiel, God's punishment of all the countries. God is in control. Daniel, those about Daniel such as the fire and the lion comes, protect from them.
Hosea loved and forgave his wife after she did bad things, showing how God loves and forgives his people.
Joel
Predicted.
a pledge of
Amos stood against the rich people who were unfair to poor people. Obadiah, God planned to punish the country of Edom.
Jonah. Jonah refused to go to preach in Nineveh. A big fish swallowed him, and then he agreed to go.
Micah, God will punish his people, forgive if he. Nahum. God will punish the country of Israel and destroy the capital city of Nineveh.
Habakkuk asked God when he would punish the evil.
Zephaniah, the day of the Lord is coming when God will punish all the nations. Haggai. Haggai's message is mentioned in the book of Ezra, which tells about the rebuilding.
Zephaniah encouraged the people to rebuild the temple and turn back to God.
Malachi. Malachi introduced people to turn back to God and keep trusting Him.
Right.
Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, Deuteronomy, Joshua, Judges, Ruth, 1st and 2nd Samuel, 1st Kings, 2nd Kings, 1st Chronicles, 2nd Chronicles, Ezra, Nehemiah, Esther, Job, that Jesus is the Messiah expected by the Jews.
Mark, the story of Jesus' life based on what Mark.
Good. Luke, the story of Jesus' life, especially Jesus healing people.
John, Jesus' actions and teachings, bread of life, God's shepherd, good shepherd is mine.
Acts, Jesus' followers asked about Peter, John, Philip, and Stephen, Paul, and Barnabas.
Romans, a letter to the church at Rome about God's plan for salvation for everyone.
1 Corinthians, a letter to the Christian at Corinth about how Christians should live.
2 Corinthians, a letter to the church at Corinth explaining why some false teachers
Galatians, a letter to several churches teaching that we are saved by faith and not by what we do.
Ephesians, a letter at Ephesus about salvation and Christian behavior.
Philippians, a letter to the church in Philippi about growing as a Christian.
Colossians, a letter to the church at Colossia against false teaching, encouraging holy living.
1 Thessalonians, a letter to the church at Thessalonica about Jesus' return and about Christian living. Thessalonica.
2 Thessalonians.
2 Thessalonians, a letter to the church at Thessalonica about Jesus and about Christian living. 1 Timothy, a letter to Timothy, a young pastor.
Second Timothy, Paul wrote this letter while he was all alone in prison.
Titus, a letter to Titus, the young pastor.
Philemon, a letter
Encouraging.
Encouraging Philemon to forgive a slave who ran away.
Hebrews, Jesus is better than the Old Testament system.
James.
Priests.
James, we show our faith by things we do.
1 Peter, a letter encouraging Christians to live holy lives.
2 Peter, a letter warning against false teachers.
1 John, a letter about belonging to God and loving one another.
2 John, a letter to a lady. Either the lady was a church or she was a real woman.
3 John, a letter to a Christian named Gaius.
Jude, a letter warning against false teachings.
Revelation, God showed John visions of heaven and the future.